Oh, there you see them at the Cheez-It Lounge over there, hanging out. Probably going to scoot on over.
Groovin'.
Cheez-Its. Yeah, groovin'. Cruising and grooving.
Yeah.
For a bruising. No, actually, you don't get a bruising if you're in the Cheez-It Lounge. It's just Cheez-Its, and it's fun. Welcome back, everybody, to the desk. You have Golden Boy here with Moses Sean Gares. It's been a fun day so far. We've had some good quality content. We asked you guys earlier. We want you guys to send us the memes.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
They just won't leave you alone.
Why is it always so fascinating that I'm bald?
Because it's easy to just Photoshop around, honestly. Hey, Moses, look at you.
Another one. Didn't see this coming in anyway.
Knocked it out of the park.
Tell you what, though, Moses, you got to work on your beard. To look
That
a little
does look
scraggly.
a bit patchy. They could have put more work into that.
Yeah.
I agree. Very disappointed there. Hey, I found grade A organic farm fresh Golden Boy eggs. That's right. Only the best yolks you could possibly ask for. Creamy, delicious, moist. Golden Boy eggs. I'm totally down to have like an egg company, you know?
Okay, that's
just
weird fact.
that's like the career. I mean, obviously this whole hosting thing isn't going to work out in the long run, so I need to think about
you're going to go into
other
farming
opportunities.
simulator.
I'm going to go into farming
obviously.
simulator and become a professional player there. That's actually where I'm going to go.
Professional egg maker.
All right. Well, away from the farm and over to Map 2, we're going to go to Cash. This is going to be Complexity's pick here. Now, if you're just joining us here, we had Complexity fall in that last game, 16-12 to Faze Clan. Now Faze looking to close this one out here. And as far as land record on Cash last 12 months, I mean, I would say, you know, kind of like not much really take away from that one, right?
I don't
Faze
think it
doing
matter.
relatively well there.
It's a nice stat for Faze, I mean, because they've had the same core four, and they've swapped out that fifth, right? But for Complexity, this means a little bit less, just because Rick and Jordan coming in, two players completely changes the way you play. There's one thing that you need to know, and it's just that we need to see the Complexity that's making that comeback, and that needs to be the Complexity we see from start to finish of this game.
But they picked Cash yesterday against Big, and that one ended 16-6. I mean, that was not pretty. So is the definition of insanity trying something over and over again, thinking it's going to work?
Maybe so, but they did review the demo. I talked with Jordan a little bit about it. Big played phenomenal in that match. They were moving around the map in ways that Faze will never do. Like, their rotations were so on point. Faze is going to come at you and try to win the aim battles, and that's what Nico is so good on this map.
I think also it just shows that Complexity has to have a decent amount of confidence. This has to be a map that they've emphasized in their practice. If they're going to get blown out like they did yesterday and pick it again here against a Faze team, that just means that they do more often than not feel comfortable on this map, and their record obviously wouldn't suggest it, but here we go. It's going to be a wild ride.
There has to be a plan. So does Faze close this out here? What are the predictions, fellas?
They sure do, Alex.
They sure
do close it out.
Okay, Sean?
I think we're going to get 3 maps. I think this is going to be the first series where we get 3 maps. I think Cole can steal Cash from them. They actually impressed me with how they strategically approached Cash yesterday.
I love your
Strategy
optimism.
doesn't matter against headshots.
That's true, though.
Clicking on heads, it's all that matters. All right, well, let's head over to Bardolph and DDK at the Boost Mobile Caster Desk. Take it away, fellas.
Speaking of impressive, we've got some nice camera work here at Eleague with the jib and things like that. Some nice guys operating it, but we've also got some more camera work. This guy getting his camera game on. So respect to you. Got to work on that zoom work, but we'll see. 2-0 or 2-1? What do you think?
I'm with Jason. Headshot server strategy. What about you?
I think that it has to be. I think it's Faze.
Yeah, it's headshots.
I think it's a nice match for a team such as Faze, and I expect them to excel. But again, I think we saw some nice work from Nothing and from Def on that previous map as well.
True, true.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they continued. So it may not be such a closed, open and shut book.
That's one of the things, though, is that, as you mentioned, we had Nothing there to provide some great plays, to get that aggression in there, to open things up for his team. But I feel like that might be where they come short against Faze. I feel like Faze overall have more options like that, and that's so important on a map like Cash. Well, we're about to see, because the freeze time is about to start, and if this man, Mr. Rain, actually you've got nothing on your screens there, but if Rain is performing as well as he was on the previous map, I have quite a lot of confidence for Faze, because he was the one that was struggling the most yesterday. But today, he's looking pretty fresh.
Got tech pause on the Faze clan side just before this starts off. Oh!
Oh no! That's the worst thing.
That's not what you want.
That's the worst thing that can possibly happen.
Put Drinkarino on other side Reno.
Yeah, that's a new Barra James. I'm not gonna lie, that's a schoolboy mistake.
I haven't built Liquid on a mouse pad yet. So
what, in your life?
well, in in the last few years.
So you're lying then?
I don't remember beyond that. I don't remember. I remember once when I went to my first LAN, I didn't have a mouse pad because I played on this crappy mahogany effect keyboard table with a Natelli mouse. And I went to LAN with no mouse pad. And then it was a different table, so my sensitivity was completely different.
How did you not foresee this,
I
James?
couldn't play. I was a young pleb. I was just playing Scout's Knives and running around Aztec with Deagle and Scout, which I kind of still do these days. But yeah.
When was this? How old were you?
Teens. Teens. It was a very
19.
long time ago. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but
yeah. So that's pretty. It's pretty appalling.
I know that you're a habitual spiller, though, but maybe not on the mouse pad itself.
I'd like to spill on the wall.
Yeah, just all over the wires and back of the computer.
Stain as much as possible. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty rough. For those of you that have not done that, obviously the wetness changes the friction on the surface, and that's kind of an important thing.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Want consistent friction. I mean, and one of the things you don't tend to bring spares of is your mouse pad to events. I've brought spare mice before. Keyboards you don't really have to worry about so much, generally speaking. It's usually
what
the
about
mice.
A hairdryer? Could you get a hairdryer on there?
Yeah, do we have someone must have a
one of those
hairdryer.
Dysons. Well, the unpause has come in, so 10 seconds away from the pistol round here on Catch. FaZe Clan 1-0 up at the moment. Complexity will start on the T side. There's a lot of utility here between Def and Stanislaw. Big plans will be had. If one of these players gets picked, then only one grenade will be dropped, something to bear in mind. Early flashbang, maybe not as deep as he would have liked, showing some presence towards B early, where there are 3 FaZe Clan players.
Here they go, looking for that B split. Oh, goodbye, Dren. There's some more time for that mouse pad to dry out as Guardian now looks to go for the defense here. He's going to get shot in the side of the head, down to Nico on the bomb side with the USP. Picks his moment, tries to get it going. That's the second one, that's beautiful. And a third, Nico. He's getting it done. Tap in for days. And that's going to be that, a closed case on that B bomb side for FaZe.
You've seen him do it with the Deagle, now with the USP. Again, very jovial. He's happy at the beginning of this map. Lovely one-taps. We had some, you see the blue line on the screen, the players who were rotating in had a flashbang for him to allow him to peek and get those easy pickoffs, but you still need the skill to pop those heads, to squeeze the grapes. And indeed he did. 4 kills for Nico in a pistol round. FaZe 1-0 up.
One thing I'm looking forward to seeing from Nico is how he plays around Squeaky Door. He is quite devious when it comes to playing that position, but we'll see more of that later as they just try to defend. Oh, hello. Gotta be careful. It's a competition for those eco frags, it seems.
There for the P250 is now dead. Nice round for FaZe. Let's see what Complexity have in store for them, and if we'll see any upgrades from FaZe Clan with these SMGs. Guardian straight to the AWP, of course. Let's not forget, Guardian's a guy who didn't play Catch for the longest time with some of his previous teams. I'm sure he enjoys all these open spaces.
I think that dog knows what's going on, James.
I wasn't sure if it was wearing a flag or a nappy.
A nappy?
I don't know. FaZe nappies. There's a market for it. Why not? Kids and adults alike. Nice little pug. I think Anders has got a pug.
Yeah, he does, yeah. He is a pug fan.
My dog is made from metal and sits in the FaZe's office at reception. Microphone problem for Guardian, the technical pals. I remember playing pugs with Dan. Half the time doesn't communicate. The other half of the time doesn't have his microphone set up. The other half of the time, he hasn't got crouch bound for some reason. He can't crouch. He started games like, I can't crouch, guys. I need a pause. I unbound my crouch button.
It's going to make it harder for myself, otherwise it's too easy.
Fair enough.
Come from Quake, you know.
Do we have all the headphones on?
Ooh.
It's weird, isn't it? It's like, it's hard for us in the green room to get used to Yanko with these leather jackets and these hoodies. It's
I thought this
so
is
different.
One of those 10. I thought, yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was like the 10-year thing for a second, but yeah, it looks the same. But yeah, indeed, it's been pretty remarkable, Yanko's rise. And also, you can actually find VODs of Yanko playing with Nico in iNation. If you go all the way back on the YouTubes, it does exist. It's out there. If you want to see him playing pro CSGO, very early on.
think you commentated a match of him playing with Nico on Nuke.
Yeah, I think I was commentating with Threat or Anders or someone like that.
Some white person somewhere. There we go. Make it happen, man. Make it happen. I won't sue. Put me in the game.
It makes me think of the. You used to tell me the story about the Hello Kitty, like Yakuza bosses or something.
Yeah, there's some Yakuza bosses in Japan who just walk around in Hello Kitty tracksuit outfits. But I want one of those ramen outfits.
Ramen outfits?
Yeah. If maybe next time I play in a show match, I'll get it's like a tin of ramen, but the thing is on a jumper instead of the packaging. It's beautiful.
Nice.
It's beautiful.
We used to get ramen.
Wear them with some yellow Yeezys.
It's been a long time.
We're back in the game. Yes. All right then, the AKs are out for Complexity. Double Krieg, Stanislaw, and Shazam. No money for AWP just yet, one would presume. Grenades will be of importance as well. This is a common smoke grenade you'll see thrown by a T side. It will stop any Molotov that's thrown early by the CTs and give them space to hide behind and move wide to look towards sandbags, so on and so forth. Nothing, though, has been taken out early by Guardian towards B. The rest of Complexity focused on A, or boosted towards mid.
I actually love that development in the meta game, that smoke on boost from the Ts. I think it's amazing. It changes a lot. And we'll see now Rick moving forwards with that AK-47, looking to see if he can find something towards A, but you've got to be careful not to hang out for too long, and he will back away. Generally, though, there are advantages to be found against most of the FaZe Clan players. Only 2 have M4s, the other 2 have SMGs, so these AKs will find a lot of value. And the Kriegs, but you put the MP9 in a good place like that, can do damage, but it will be circumvented by Def as Guardian rattles off a shot, but now he has no vision. Complexity look to have the B-bomb site.
Does Rain? Oh, okay, he's going for to stop the checkers plant with the Molotov, which is where Stanislaw is planting it, but the bomb will go down in time, slightly too delayed. A push from the CTs, and the frags will be traded, leaving Def 1 versus 2 in checkers where the bomb has been planted, because Niko's got the off angle. Bomb will be touched by Guardian, one would expect. He doesn't really have the angle from this side. And there is Guardian to puncture his chest. 3-0 for FaZe Clan, an expensive round, but they still have a clean sheet.
Guardian so fast, doesn't even need Nico. Really nice stuff there from FaZe, but Complexity, getting that bomb plant is going to allow them to actually, if they would like to, go for a buy here potentially. They've got 4K on pretty much everybody, so that if you throw a couple of UMPs or Galils in there, you can get some extra utility, and they will actually go for the buy here. We'll see everyone going for the rifles, though. I'm not sure. I feel like you want at least one player, James, with the ability to buy utility.
We've got 4 smoke grenades, 1 flashbang to rule them all, and perhaps that will be enough. That's enough to execute the smokes at least onto the A bomb site, but again, the Molotovs will be an issue. Considering FaZe started with a guy in B with an MP9 and Guardian forced out with the smokes, that push through the smoke from FaZe before Complexity could fully set up was so important to win that round for them. So, they're looking to burst again. Just 1 flashbang to go straight through that smoke, and here they go. In the meantime, Nico! That is absolutely disgusting. There have to be laws against that. Only 2 Complexity players remaining. Absolute decimation in the meat grinder. Fingers, face, all of it.
Wow, that's got to be one of the best transfers I have seen. That's incredible. Oh my god, that is so scary. Imagine being up against that. How do you deal with that? You can't, there's nothing you can do.
That was so fast, I could barely register what was going on. 1, 2, and look how instant. It's like the first bullet. We need it slower. We need it slower. I think the first bullet hit him in the face. In the jaw, in the dome.
Yeah,
he's like, ha ha ha. They thought they could take A.
Oh my god, that's just
nasty.
ridiculous. I have to say, I loved what the plan was from Complexity. The burst through the smoke is a great way to punish CT teams that rely on that smoke early, and you just have 1 player on the A-bomb site whilst you have 3 around mid, and then you can just, boom, just burst through it, quick timing, and you take the bomb site, but no, apparently not.
Nico, the menace to society, put Complexity on the pistols. So I guess they wanted the element of surprise, because normally that position would be smoked off. But that is time to react as well. And when you don't have the Molotovs to force people from their position, I guess Complexity thought they'd take the risk. Nico said no.
Yeah, just being out in the open there, you're often just only going to get 1 kill. You just got 3, annihilated 3 players straight away. Well, the Deagles have done some work here. We've got 1 kill, going for that gun, and Dev can't quite line up the shot. It was a good attempt there. I think he really wanted that AK. And you can see Olaf Meiser is doing some good damage here. And Dora is being harassed by Nico at the same time, but another Deagle kill comes in. 2v3, plenty of time. Bomb still under control. I think it's recoverable. Kind of on the edge of a main there. But now Stan is gone, so you don't like Ricky's chances at this point.
Question of damage now for Ricky. 30 seconds. Still time to try to win the round. He doesn't know how far away Adren is. Guardian with the elevated position will stop everything else for Complexity. 5-0 for Faze. Again, I go back to the retake on B and Nico's play to put them in this position. So I think it's somewhat unfortunate for Complexity, but they are back on the buy now. AWP for Shazam. Stanislaw with the Krieg once again. More accurate than the AK by default is the Krieg. That's before you even scope in. When you scope in, it's nasty.
Rain going close. Anticipation of that quick smoke. Adren out there as well, and this is kind of the round in which they were thinking about that quick burst into A behind the smoke, because you can see there's a 1-3-1 setup. So if you do burst through the smoke at this time period early in the round, when they think they're safe, it's very, very effective. I think did he get a tag there? I'm not sure that he did. Ricky will go down against Nico. Nico again on that door position is incredible on the A site. Resmoke there of mids, and right now Complexity are in some trouble, James. They've only got a smoke and a Molotov left, and they have no map control at all.
Drone's got to be careful. Well, that smoke is very timely because Shazam was waiting for it to go. And now plenty of time will be wasted. Stanislaw making his way towards the squeaky door position. Rain still under the boost. Notes how Complexity are not giving any sound cues away. They've got time to walk away and not give any clues to their opponent. And they will use that. Adren was in the middle of mid. Now he's behind the box outside the entrance to B. And he's been left here. So it seems there's a read towards the A bomb site. Maybe there was some action from Stanislaw off camera, which has put a focus from Faze Clan in that direction. Off angle from Adren. That's the bomb. That's plenty of information immediately. Complexity throwing the grenade, setting up, and this is buying more time for the rotation. The shadow makes it easy for Rain, and Adren, he was strong on Train, and he continues to be strong on Cash. Shazam 1 versus 4 with 15 seconds. He needs to hold on to this sniper rifle, and he may not be allowed to do so.
Rain in from the back pretty quickly, stops Shazam. He has got a hug the corner, goes to the quick shot, but AWP gone. Faze don't need to pick it up because they've already got 2. They're having a whale of a time now. Nico's on $13,000 at the start of this round. All of his teammates are quite rich, and Complexity are struggling here pretty badly. And this is kind of what we're talking about. Faze just have so much individual skill. Nico's an incredible anchor on that A-bomb site. Complexity are trying their best, but we've had some good responses. I like how Faze identified how much Complexity wanted that mid control, and were able to just deny it with repeated smoke grenades. You know, just understanding how to be reactive in that way against what Complexity are trying to achieve. And Complexity are yet to find a good approach.
Olaf has found a second sniper rifle. So there'll be a change in... He's not bad, Dust. He's not bad. Change the approach from Faze Clan. While Complexity are just trying to get their first round on the board, all the information is now old as Faze have a new configuration. Adrenaline Guardian towards B, Olaf Meister towards A. And this is a nice change. We saw some comments, I believe, from Flusher on HLTV saying that they tended to play the same way in the same position, Faze. So even with success, they will change things and keep people on their toes. Boosting up into the shrewd position. Will the booster get off quietly, though? Because Ricky is close enough to hear. And that would be all the clue he needed. In the meantime, the bomb is near A main. However, 3 players are headed towards B.
Indeed, they could just leave Nico there now. They've got a good enough grip on middle that they don't have to worry about A so much, but this is the problem. They're playing so passively on the B-bomb side as well, and mid, that they don't have info. And here comes the push in from Complexity, but again, comes down to hitting those shots, and they don't have the flashbangs to deny Guardian vision. And Range is peeking out. He just has to peek every so often. Nico finds himself too, but he can't quite get the second player down. That's the bomb spotted as well. As all the trap is a fake. And it looks like it may have worked here. 3 versus 3, and the bomb goes down on A.
Olaf taking a shot through the smoke. He was close enough to stop the plant, but the smoke grenade will deter him. He'll wait for his teammates. Adren taken down in the meantime, giving Complexity a man advantage for now. Rain spotting a player towards quad. Where are the rest of them? Nothing in A main. Death on a long rotation. There's a spray through the smoke from Shazam. And that's Olaf. Tag but no frag. Spots the player jumping. That's 2. Where is the third one? The HG as he falls off. He can't really avoid a trade frag in many of these situations, especially not knowing where the third player is. And Complexity will get their first round on the board. If they can survive with 3 players, that would be fantastic as well.
Yeah, this is such a great punish from Complexity to the fact that FaZe were playing so passively. If FaZe, because FaZe are playing with so little information, it makes fakes really strong. And so that was the perfect response from Complexity. And FaZe, I would imagine, are going to be in a position where they should be encouraged now to play a bit more aggressively. We haven't seen too much in the way of taking over A main or trying to find a timing on B on B as well. There's all sorts that they can go towards. Nico's incredible at finding door pushes as well. So we'll see what they're up to if there's a change of approach here from FaZe in this round.
That was quite a dedicated fake as well. Almost pushing completely into the B-bomb site. But anyway, 6-1. We need consecutive rounds now. Aggression in A main. Stanislaw stuck, blind and dead. And Def is not far behind it. 2 coffins, please. Could be 3 more on the way. Nothing Ricky and Shazam. They've made their way up short quickly. Adren's had a jump peek. That's a sound cue, maybe even a bait. Now down goes nothing. No answer to any of these frags just yet. Ricky in a squeaky door. Shazam around the lane where Nico awaits. What a response, what an answer from FaZe so far. What can Ricky do now? Door politely closed. Some spam through the wall. You have to be very careful indeed. If Guardian comes up the highway position, you could spam him at the other angle, so Ricky hides. No buddies left in this round. That reload will be heard. You can see the spray coming more in his direction now. Only the 1 kill. What a shutdown from FaZe Clan.
Yeah, it's perfect. Again, just having lost a round playing ultra passive, it's good that they just mix it up and just go to the other extreme, go very aggressive, take A main immediately. And it worked out because, Complexity's timing was so fast in through mid and A for that split that you get those kills in a position where it kind of commits, Complexity kind of committed as well. So, and that's a pretty brutal reset to happen this late into the first half as well. It's not a welcome scenario here for Complexity. Speaking of aggression, Guardian going close here to the angle. Looking to see if he can hold for a shot. Nothing doing for him so far, though. Cross smoke there coming in. As Complexity can threaten Checker's control. And once again, we see a passive setup on the B-bomb side from FaZe.
Smoke towards connector. Bomb waiting outside B. So it looks like they'll be heading towards the vent if they do venture into the middle position, but Olaf Meister easily avoids the flashbang. Should have hit that one. The HG can't position to throw it because of that Molotov. He's got a fall back. That's an opportunity for Complexity. And moving forward, that's the bomb taken out. All the information they need, the 180, the spray, the transfer. Beautiful from him. He's held everything down and made it easy for Guardian. 1 more to find, and there he goes. Just the 1 kill for Complexity in that 4th buy, and the lead extends for FaZe.
That was really nice work from Adren. Very nice work indeed. You can see he had a really good read on this situation. Knows they're trying to push in. Pretty likely corner for someone to be hiding and finds the bomb. Great adjustments and also great support from his teammates. You can see the flashes starting to come in. Rain there for support, Guardian there for support. Complexity were not able to burst fast enough through that position and they were punished pretty hard. Now the full eco, we would definitely expect a 9-1 situation here for FaZe.
Look at the scoreboard, Dan. Look at nothing score.
Yeah.
He was so important on Train, but he hasn't got a kill yet here on Cash. But with only 1 round on the board, it's there are bigger issues. So collateral, maybe.
He's been exploded.
Tactical timeout has been requested, I do believe. from Complexity. Line them up, knock them all down. Beautiful. Well, here we go. Having very limited success. I mean, you can point out nothing is 0 for 9, but no one's got more than 5 kills in 10 rounds for Complexity. So it's just telling you how strong this has been for FaZe Clan.
Yeah, also, I think just the kinds of positions that Complexity have been in. They haven't really been in many post plants. You know, post plants are like a situation where you're going to find frags. You know, and then mostly Complexity have been denied that. We've only really seen them plant the bomb, well, very few times.
Twice.
And so that's an issue. I would expect to see Complexity going to more of a default, and let's say, you know, trying to get a player in towards checkers, forcing that passive B setup from the Ts, maybe go for a late mid take, you know, threaten a B split, keep your options open at the same time, see if a pick can maybe lead you into an A play. Like, I would expect something slower like that from Complexity now. One thing though, FaZe have been really good at holding mid. They're going 3 aggressive into B. That's perfect. What a response. That's good. This is such a counter to playing a default, because where you would send one player, you get 3v1, and that's exactly what happened. Now they fall into a normal setup, 5 versus 4.
Def playing with a gap, and the trend looks like he's about to walk in. Oh, but he's going to get the better hand of it. Of course he is. 5 versus 3, 2, as the last 2 players quietly pray for mercy, beg for opportunity as they head towards the A side. One taken down by Lofmeister. 1 player down isn't a big deal for FaZe Clan. Many round has been won by them now with 4 players alive. Plenty of grenades trying to deter an approach to the site. Ricky looking for opportunity, an overextension, a 1v1. And he'll get one from the high grounds, not where he's expecting it. 10 rounds for FaZe, 1 round for Complexity.
Yeah, that was such a perfect round to throw in an aggression. Obviously, one of the previous aggressions FaZe used was A main, but this time they go B main. Run into a default. It's the perfect counter to a default. I like that Def tried to challenge it. He wanted to say, you know what, we can't allow FaZe to have Sunroom, because that allows them to cheat 4 players towards A and have enough time to rotate to B if we go towards B. So there you get a 1 versus 1 if you try to challenge that Sunroom player. But then Adren wins that fight. If Def wins that fight, the round looks very interesting. But because that 1v1 is lost from Def, all of a sudden Complexity don't have any options. They just have to go towards A, and there's no other choice. So the round looks very one-sided at that point. Oh dear, yes. Nico's been having quite the game.
Yeah, that is telling you a story for sure. Double figures for FaZe, single digit for Complexity, just a 1. Deagles, P250s, and 4 flashes, along with a smoke for Complexity. Maybe they'll try to burst into A again. Well, there's a smoke towards B. Stanislav trying to present something, a pop flash, trying to pull people down towards the map. And that's working so far. That's a nice shot from Guardian. But what can Complexity do? We've got 3 players in B now, and they're starting to move into a boost position. I think they need to use the numbers towards A, but obviously I have all the information and they don't. Wherever they go, it's going to be difficult anyway. Maybe looking to pick up a weapon, maybe looking to split the A site, as some have dropped and some have not. Def taken out. Nico looking for more stats. He's got range to swing wide for a trade frag, worst case scenario. So nice Kobe from him. And he continues to rack him up. Shazam coming out of A. It was an eco round, and now it's 11-1. 19-4-2. Nico has been fragged 2 times.
Yeah, it's not a good look here so far for Complexity. They had that comeback on train. They remain composed in a situation like this. They desperately need these last 3 rounds. We'll have to see if nothing can come back into this one with the rest of his team. But I think, again, the scoreline, one of the problems is that FaZe are just playing very tight, and Complexity are not getting map control. They're not getting post plants. They're not able to put themselves in positions where they can get frags.
Stanley's only got the 1 kill as well at present, so I mean, it's just rough across the board. There's no point even looking at those, because 5 isn't great in 12 rounds either. Let's see what they can do on this occasion. Ricky gets taken out. Rain is hungry, looking for a transfer of his own, but nothing will finally reach the scoreboard. And there's a cheer for him. Make him more conscious about it, why don't you? The bomb's collected by Complexity. 3 players alive versus the 4 FaZe Clan players. And the stats look good, because FaZe have won so many rounds with 4 players alive in this game.
And this is a situation you can work with. Ooh, that's so close. you know, you've got a minute left. You've got a 3v4. There's space on the map. The CTs are forced to go out of standard rotations and standard positions, and they're playing effectively 2-2 a bomb site at this point. Adren keeping tabs on middle. The problem is that FaZe have too much information, I think, and they're expecting this A plate.
Bluffmeister was holding a pixel gap in that cross, maybe to make for Nico. It will work anyway, and there is the bomb. Again, there's all the information now. The rotation can begin. A Molotov towards Forklift to stop them having some cover for the duel, and it will be a Nico show once again. He's died twice. He's got 22 frags. Nothing but 2s for Nico, apart from that one assistant.
Yeah. The problem, of course, you know, Rainbows did an amazing job here, but one of the problems in that round for Complexity, one of the steps they needed to take, is they had to actually clear middle, but because 2 of the players were quite weak, they were not confident enough to go for a peek in middle to actually fight to get that extra kill and make sure there's no CTs getting info there. If they'd been able to do that, the attack would have been much easier, but you can see both Nico and his teammate were ready on the A-bomb side, so ready.
Keeping it extremely simple, Complexity, even on the buy. A burst. Just trying to overwhelm. They've got too many numbers. Surely too many numbers. Here he goes again. Just 2 frags on this occasion. And now they've got position Complexity. They've got smokes post plant as well. So they've got a strong chance of taking this round. But that gap is not helpful.
Indeed. Finally a post plant. Nice elevated position. It's good for 1. Rain still doing great damage. Stan with a decisive frag in the back. That's an important kill to get. But it is still a 2 versus 2 here. All the chances for FaZe. Lots of time still using that position, that elevation to try to work another kill, but nothing defends. 1 versus 1 now, nothing against Adren as he pushes forwards. He will force nothing back with that incendiary to the quad position. Nothing looking to be in a good spot here to maybe close this one down. They need it, and he nails it. 3K for him as Complexity put 1 more up on the board.
Only 3 rounds possible in this half. But look what it took. Sheer numbers game. Everybody on one side, and still they went down to the last player. There's some BM from production. No, Ben loves himself some BM. Well then, can they get a much needed, a desperate 3rd round on the board? 3 AWPs on the server, 2 of which are with FaZe Clan. Do they go back to a normal round? Do they go back to brute force in this final round? Complexity. They'll start spread out, but perhaps they will collapse to a site sooner rather than later.
Smoke down from FaZe on B. Complexity playing a slower approach. They themselves only have 2 smoke grenades and 2 Molotovs. That's a huge issue. If nothing or Def die before throwing those, that would be very sad indeed. If those nades are lost. You could take some damage through the door there. So Rickett just creating some presence. So this is a default through and through here from Complexity. Nothing trying to work on Checker's control. And they've got mid control as well, that late mid take. So B split is an option now as well. So finally, Complexity. This is maybe one of the only rounds where they have some map control, where a default actually works out.
Bomb needs to be collected. It's in a useless 3-map present. Complexity are in a strong position for a split of the A-bomb site. So will there be a rotation here? Def's got down as well. So if it was a rotation, there's no one left to rotate it. Stanislaw's taken out in Z connector, and now Shazam picks up the bomb, and Rick is in the squeaky door. Down he goes as well. FaZe are just too strong, and they don't even have the AKs yet.
That's a huge problem. Ooh, Complexity, only 2 rounds in the first half, 13-2 for FaZe, an incredible performance from them. But I think also a lot left to be desired for the Complexity's T side. They wanted to do something a bit crazy there in that last round. They were trying to push T-Con. They had a B split available to them because FaZe actually gave them a huge amount of space on the map, uncontested. So they could have, the B split would have been for free, but they wanted to go into T-Con, as a CT-Con, and it just did not work out.
That is a dejecting half. That's with the M4A4s. Complexity had the AKs, and they got 2 rounds. No one with more than 6 kills for the side. A mismatch, perhaps, but it is a game of 2 halves, and maybe they can turn things around. Players are readying up. fact, already, so we'll soon be into it. 2 versus 13. I think this is the roughest half we've seen so far. Seen some 12 threes. He's pretty happy. He's like, I love Atlanta, man. It's great here. And here we go. The restarts are in. Just have a recap of Nico's score. 26 for 3. 26 for 3. The closest man to him is Guardian, who has half of his kills.
Yeah, doing a lot of damage on the A-bomb side. But it's time to get into the second half here between Faze and Complexity. Complexity fighting for their lives. They conceded the first map of this series on train 16-12. And now Faze are looking to make it a wipeout here on the second map to take it through to those finals. We'll see if they can do it.
Nico could finish this map with a 30 bomb and less than 5 deaths. That would be surely unprecedented. Guardian fishing with a P250. Nothing doing. Stanislaw spotting. His risk is limited. He has some risk, but it is limited. Falling back now as Rain gets picked off, and maybe Nico has to do more. He's got a P250. He's searching for something. There's no one in these positions. Nothing keeping an eye on A main, while there's almost 4 players towards B. Complexity are very expectant.
Yeah, they're ready for this one. And there is still a lot of space, as you mentioned, to work with. As they're so ready on B, they've left some gaps elsewhere. Nothing is keeping tabs on A main by just looking deep from lockers. So that is helping out massively here for Complexity to be in the right positions, and they're going to force their way in for this B play. Just going to come down to hitting those shots at this point because, as you mentioned, Complexity know this is coming. Boosting one out to mid, this is actually really smart because you might be able to get a quick 1v1. Also work out if there's someone to flank, and maybe even peel a CT back or go for a flank yourself. Lots of options here. Faze are really using the time well.
Complexity know that 2 of the players at least were in checkers, a P250 and a Glock, so they have 4 people here and no one in mid. The bomb can still be boosted out of defense. Olofmeister's doing more damage, but there are still 2 players on the site, but now Nico's starting to flank. Nothing is almost towards the cover, going back towards A because they don't know what's going on. Olofmeister doesn't have the bomb, it's a Dren, so I don't know if Complexity have seen it. 14 seconds, they've got to charge forward soon. Another tap from Nico. There's one more player on the site though. Can he set the plant? No! This is absolutely crazy. So patient from Faze, and now the bomb gets planted default, and nothing's on the way. He's close enough. 1 versus 2.
Well, at least nothing's killed Nico, but indeed, 2 players to go. This will be very difficult. And as a head spotted, but Adren immediately dinks him. That's so demoralizing. Nothing left for him to be able to do, and that's going to be the pistol going to Faze. 14-2. Complexity pretty much got to force every round now.
That is pretty crazy. 3 versus 5. 2 players essentially in checkers. And they still managed to close it out, Faze, in that situation. Boosting a player out, no vision in mid. Tunnel vision from Complexity, one could argue. That flank proved to be too much. And you could see on the radar, nothing was almost towards the car. If he had gone all the way, then that was a free frag on Nico, and maybe they went around based on that. But here we are, 14-2 for Faze Clan. Little choice for Complexity, but to force buy.
You can see Guardian was playing anti-flash there. Also, you can use that sort of direction, the direction you're looking to kind of pinpoint sounds also, work out the positions of your opponents. And they just go for a burst on the A site. I like this, it's decisive. You're gambling. If they stack this bomb site, you can be in for some trouble, but... And that actually kind of seems to be the case here. Complexity have 4 players towards A.
Rain creeping, as is Shazam. Rain will come out on top. Good armor penetration on the Galil. Now it's the pistols. Everybody going towards A for Complexity. Nothing trying to throw a grenade, extinguish the Molotov, caught without a gun in his hand. And Rain continues to clear up, 1 by 1 by 1. And there it is. 15-2. Def with a late effort with 2 kills with a CZ, but it's match point for Faze.
Almost there. This one looks very smooth. They had a start that was similar to the start they had here, but Complexity managed to grasp things and get it under control. But this is just, there's no grasping this at this point. Faze have done such a great job. Complexity struggling so much. Another force buy. Looks like Faze might even just deny them having a CT side at all if they're able to win this one, and he has superior weaponry to do so. Some good utility on Complexity though, which could really aid in the efforts to pick this one up, but Rain is ready. And that's a very dead Shazam.
Two players spotted towards B for complexity, but not with the bomb. They're boosting towards the bomb, it seems. The Stanislaw up top with the CZ. Got to pick up the weapon. The trend towards Squeaky. I don't know if he's seen the bomb. He's about to smoke himself off, but what else can complexity do? Rikke gets a kill on Nico as Def is collected. How does he win that one? He will get traded though, but they should have seen the bomb now. Olofmeister outside B. If nothing runs towards A, maybe Adren comes towards Olofmeister. We'll have to wait and see. That is a scout, not an AWP. That nothing is holding. He's got to be very, very careful. He scopes in, but he can't get away from the angle. That's a clean B bomb site. Not that Faze no just yet. They have a minute on the clock though. They can move together. So Rikke fires a hopeful shot.
This is actually doable for Rikke. Olofmeister's one bullet from death, so there's that. You just need that headshot on Adren, and we know Rikke has great pistol work. Most snipers actually do have good, or very, very good first bullet accuracy, which is really what the Deagle demands. Also, of course, good timing with your counter strafes. Again, another skill that's so incredibly critical at the top level. And Rikke on the wrong side of things, unfortunately. Some time will be killed just running over. And not only that, he won't be able to catch anybody out of position, which could have been another way to get a kill. He has everything against him right now.
He's got to find a headshot. Olofmeister is miles away. Now coming back in A main. Olofmeister is the one who can get 1D in the chest. 2 AKs. The bomb is so far safe. I don't think he's got no kit, so it's going to be so hard to do this. Olofmeister hiding in the locker area. Just needs to wait long enough, and now surely it's over. He's got a kill, but there's no way he's got the defuse. This is not happening. In devastating fashion, Faze take the series, 16-2 on cash.
Very well played by Faze. They hit their stride, and I think it's the first time we've really seen that this year so far in January. A month into it, they've not had the best run. Yesterday, they suffered 2 losses in overtime, well, where they managed to get big comebacks but still lost. But here, finally, they really felt their skill. We saw everybody firing off. Faze now look very dangerous.
Indeed, and they will move on to play the loser of the following match. Meanwhile, Complexity have been eliminated from the tournament. Thoughts of the desk after the break.